7's a non-starter. Not the best place to be. Lovely bit of driving there from 612 Tom Baker though to try and squeeze into it. So it's going to be 63. There you go, look at Darryl Pratt get his way in there. 63, followed by 276. Followed by Triple T, 29 Sally Adams didn't know where to go. Oh, Dan Smyth's been out as well. Little bit of noise there. 63 from Darryl Pratt. Jack Baker. But it's all about Tom and so it's 612
Well, there we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm Mike Lee, or FBL Smiler, as you can call me. And welcome to FBL and welcome to Driver Interview. And what we got on today. I hope you enjoyed that clip and that in-car video supplied by the person who is age 29. He drives front-wheel dirt rods. His car number is 13. He's he is taken, by the way, ladies. He is engaged. He's been driving for 8 years, 7 of them at Stansted. He's employed as a mechanic at Volvo, and he's just been promoted as well. So, hopefully soon-to-be wife will be happy about that. His dad drives as well, and we need to remind him something about the keys. Lost keys or something, but I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I introduce to you Dan Smyth. Hello, Dan.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
Not too bad. Did you like that little intro we done for you there?
Yeah, that was quite good actually. They all synced up together as well. It was almost like, which one do I want to look at?
Do you know what I could see in the preview box I have here? Obviously, I can see all the stuff that's going on, and I was looking. I could see you going, "What's going on? I can't. Which box do I look at?" So yeah, like I was saying to you earlier. Actually, you hadn't seen that, everybody, by the way. So what I'll do is I'll push it out onto YouTube, and you can share that and do whatever. I mean, where do we start really? Because we had a really good chat yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
And you know, so first things first, let's talk about the live stream, because it's the reason why I've done that for you as a thank you as well for coming on and being interviewed, because a few people don't want to be interviewed, which is very strange. I don't understand why, but I'm not that bad, am I?
No, you're not that bad. I think it's one of those things, isn't it? You know, I was a bit apprehensive about coming on because, like most people, I don't like the sound of my own voice. So.
I don't like the sound of my voice. I really feel pity for everybody, you know. Pity the damn fool, listen to my voice. But it's just something you got to get used to be fair. It's just, I'm sure you will watch this back cringing as well. But
yeah, 100%.
So as like on the thumbnail, you can see above is his car. So you sent me that the other day. So reason I've done that that video on there is A, thank you, and B, to help you hopefully get some sponsorship as well, isn't it? Because
you never know, mate. It could happen.
It does. This is the thing about the live stream at Stansted. Believe it or not, you can actually use it to help you get, for instance, sponsorship. So don't forget, you know, if somebody's umming and ahhing about sponsoring your vehicle, just say, well, we are on a live stream. Look at this. And people do see it, and it does get eventually put out on YouTube, you know, publicly. Obviously, there is the private side, as in people pay. But other than that, we'll come back to that later. But let's talk about you now, Dan, because I mean, I've wrote loads of notes. I mean, I don't know where to start really. So I think first things first, if you just bought a house, that's the first thing.
Not long, yeah. November last year we bought the house.
Yeah. So how's that working out? Have you moved? I mean, you've got all your...
Yeah, we moved in. We're sort of halfway through decorating and other things, but managed to keep racing. So obviously that's the most important thing.
Oh, well, of course. Yes. We miss you if you didn't turn up. And I mean, I can tell by your photos up there that it's your pride and place. Is that your study or something? Or
yeah, it's just like little games room sort of thing where I'll sit and play the PlayStation sometimes, but it's probably the only place I get away with having all these pictures up on the wall.
I bet as well. I bet, but it does look like it's like your evil empire place. Like, what country can I take out now? That lovely chair of yours there. So right, you're 29 years old. You're engaged again. Like I said, ladies, bad luck. He's taken, and he's bought a house. So, is there going to be little Dans running around soon? That's a big question as well.
Possibly. Let's get everything else out of the way first.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. You've been driving for 8 years, but 7 of them at Stansted, correct?
Yeah.
So what got you involved? You know, why? What makes you tick? What makes you be a driver? But I mean, what
for the racing?
Yeah.
So Dad raced before I was born, and whilst I was a kid, you used to race at Stansted back when it was called Henham back in the 80s. He's got family in Croydon that used to race at the track there. I think it was called Lamb's Farm, something like that. So it was always backwards and forwards up there. So I've always seen the racing as a kid, but obviously wasn't old enough or whatever to be able to do it until later on. So yeah, once the time came, I could do it. Yeah, we sort of went over to Stansted a few times to watch. Just said to Dad, look, this is something I really want to do. And we went over and spoke to a few people about, you know, what are the rules around building the cages and what cars can you use and all that sort of thing. And then just went from there, really.
Just went from there, really.
As we were saying yesterday, Aubrey, who's been at the track for as long as anyone else can remember anyway, obviously Dad knew him from racing there when he was younger, and we actually bought our first recovery truck from Aubrey so we could get the car to and from the track and all that sort of thing. So that was a big help in itself. And then obviously, I don't know whether Terry will remember this, but before I actually started racing, I emailed the track because I'd found the website when it was in its very early days, and emailed him and said, does anyone sort of rent a car out for a day for me to try it and all this sort of thing. And he was actually really helpful in saying, you know, speak to this guy, that guy, blah, blah, blah. And all that sort of helped out to get a foot in the door, if you like, and start racing.
Yeah, so let us know, people in the chat as well, if you've got any questions for Dan. So we were talking at length yesterday, and we did need to stop because we wouldn't have had anything to talk about on this show. But but you know, it is a family orientated track, isn't it? And like from what
any of the people that you speak to that are there week in, week out, it is like having a second family. It's your racing family. You go and see them. People generally park in the same places in the pits all the time, so you're next to the same people. you know, we all help each other out, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I remember from yesterday is you were saying people come down to the track and you can, you know what I mean, they're used to driving on tarmac and stuff like that, and you know, they don't always know how friendly it is there, and it can be.
That's the thing. It's not always as friendly in other places. You know, everyone races because they want to win the race, and everyone is competitive. But you know, at Stansted, when you come off the track, we'll help each other out as well. You know, we could be tussling on track and bashing each other's cars up, but then we'll be helping each other out or lending tools or lending spares to. Because as much as we want to win the race and beat you in that race, we still want you to get back out there for the next one.
Yeah, I suppose the challenge is that only if you've got a worthy opponent is it worth driving, isn't it? Sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. We have got a question from Sally and Avis. First up, should we do a question?
Yeah.
Really interrupt. Let's have a look. Do you know what? I've got to remember how to do this because I'm a little bit today. I'll quickly explain. I created that video for the start. Literally, I was saying to Dan earlier. It finished 5 minutes before, you know, I got all this sort of sorted, and I was behind on everything because I was like, I had this weird idea. And I did explain it to Dan. I wasn't dreaming about him, but I just had this idea that come to me, and you know, while I was asleep or maybe drifting off to sleep, and it was like, you know, hopefully you'd like it, and yeah. But it took a little bit more. I went that little bit further as well with it. So there we go. Right. So what is Sally Ann? What was your most memorable meeting? There we go.
Ooh.
Oh,
that's a good one actually. There's been a few memorable ones. A lot of the thing with as everyone will know, for me and Dad over there, if we don't win every week, but we have fun every week, and a lot of that is if one of us sees somebody trying to get past the other one, we then kind of not go after that person, but you know, if somebody spins us out a bit naughty or whatever, they know the other one's not that far behind. So,
okay. So you team up. So you're saying if one takes one of you out, then the other will come for you.
Yeah, in the nicest possible way.
They're together, they're father and son, and watch your back. Yes, there's always somebody watching. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. But no, it's, a lot of the people that we end up being really good mates with is because generally one of us has spun the other one out at some point, and then it's when you come off and you shake hands and you sort of have that, right, well, we won't do that again. Or you know.
We will do that again.
You end up being mates afterwards, you know. But there's a guy called Robbie Reed who used to race. He just stopped last year, actually. And when we'd first started doing the dirt rods, I know we come round one of the bends and he took Dad out, and I don't know, I was in the top 4 or 5 or something. I wasn't winning, but I was doing quite well. And then I'd seen it. And then going around, I thought, well, that's it. I'm not bothered about winning the race now. I'm going to go and have a little tap back at him, you know. And then we came off afterwards, and then after that, you know, you're like best mates. It's, you know, fair enough. That's it. Blah blah blah. And we'd help each other out after that every time. You know, I remember one of the years they did a front wheel drive DD at the end of the season, which I don't normally do, obviously, because they're not bangers where we do it every week. But yeah, my car wasn't running right, and Robbie, bless him, spent probably a good portion of the DD trying to push me around to get my car going so I could do the race, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I see that a lot. I do see people push start on other drivers, you know, and I do try and show that in the live stream, you know, but obviously there's a lot going on, especially with front wheel drive and bangers, you know. There is, I mean, you know, one of the things I started doing, like if you notice there, I actually took footage. We actually have footage now of the separate bends. So because you drivers do them ahead in, you know what I mean? You don't wait for when the camera's in the right place sort of scenario. You do it off. It's like, you know where the camera is. What's that?
I don't envy the cameramen because you kind of do it as well yourself. If you know you've done something or you've had somebody spun you out on a bend, you can guarantee when you watch the film back, the camera was looking somewhere else just at that moment, because you can't get all 4 bends at one time, can you? So
well, yeah.
Well, now you can, but you couldn't before.
Yeah, but there's still loads of stuff to go. I mean, we need a better system. We need loads of stuff so we can do replay, because what that would be really cool is actually you know, the costs just start to spiral. And like many don't know, I actually do it all on my own. So we don't have cameramen or women. Let's not be sexist. We don't actually have them when we do the live stream. So it is static. So we can't really. But I keep on trying new things now. I've got wide angle lenses on, and it's just that little bit short of getting in Ben 1 and 2, which is annoying.
Yeah.
So
I
just
don't know,
trying
it
to
might
work.
have been you, or it might have been somebody else. Somebody was there filming a couple of years ago, and they actually had a camera on top of the commentary box, and that got a good view of, like, not quite a bird's eye view, but like an up high view of most of the track.
Well, that's what I plan to bring in next, is basically a big pole. No rude comments, please, people. A big pole, then a camera face down, so we got the with a widescreen angle, so that we've got the whole track. So that's something I can pan to, and then we can see things going on and stuff. Blah 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 blah. But again, I mean, for that sort of tripod is very expensive. So again, all your subscriptions greatly appreciated, because they do help FBL get better and buy other products that help make the stream better. So going back to the family orientation. So if you have kids, then are you going to be trying to push them into? We're getting some feedback. I think is it your thing on the pop?
I don't know whether that's the phone again.
Yeah, we had some fun with this earlier, didn't we? It's a clicking noise, but there we go. We'll work through it as always. So yeah, if you have little, still there, little Dans, are you going to try and push
them into it? But if it's something they want to do, then yeah, why not?
Okay, I mean, what I found interesting about your in-car feed was the stones coming in.
Yeah,
you've got all that grit. You do, because it's something we don't always think about, which is, we always think of a windscreen, and it protecting us, but actually you've got a helmet on, but you've actually got all these stones and stuff flying at you, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get a few stones over there, but it's more when it's wet as well, because all the mud just flicks up straight away, and you can end up with it. You try and sort of go around and wipe your visor off as you're going, but sometimes it just smears it everywhere. But that's all right, because when you end up in the bank, you've only got yourself to blame, I suppose.
Can't you have like a rip-off sheet or something?
You can do, yeah. Some people do use them. I don't, but generally I just end up putting it up and sort of looking around like that as I go.
I had when I first started with the widescreen angled lens, so I obviously set it all up, blah blah blah. First slap, first brake. Yeah, you can hear it kind of coming through.
Yeah, I'm just trying to move it a bit, see if that helps.
You're balancing it on the box anyway. That's what he's trying to do. That's perfect. I'm not joking. This piece of mud, you see it fly and literally go bump straight on the corner of the camera, and I'm like, are you serious? I mean, that's a 1 in a million shot.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times with my little GoPro that I have in the car. Once the mud goes over the lens, that's it. You can hear everything, but you can't see anything afterwards for a while.
Exactly. And I'm just thinking
it's bumpy enough over there that it just knocks the mud off of it eventually. So you do get the film back. Yeah,
you can get lucky, especially if it rains as well. There's another thing. I think before that race that I just showed, it rained a little bit beforehand, and I've gone round and tried to cover and clear the lenses. And because I was doing it all on my own, it was like, was it running? I think it was, the 4th of July, actually, because we had the England game the night before. And I was running a little bit late, I think. Yeah, I think I was. Yeah. And camera 1 was playing up badly. Eventually found out it was a cable, but I had to run there about 50 times in between races, do sorts of things. It was just doing, and people were just like watching me running. Like, honestly, it was like something out of the Matrix. They just see me running past all the time. Very weird. But it's weird how things like that happen. So right. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, you're a mechanic, aren't you? That's your profession. So we talked yesterday. So a lot of you are mechanics as well. So
yeah, everybody's at least a little bit of a mechanic, because they have to be able to repair the cars to get them back out, I suppose. So a lot of people are welders, or a lot of guys do their own recoveries and that kind of things. Everybody's car related in some way.
Yeah. Do you take that back to work with you, for instance? For instance, you might do something on your cars that you've learned due to what you do, in banger racing. So
no, I don't think anything that we do on the dirt rods would be safe. It would be safe to do for cars that are going on the road.
Oh, okay. All right.
We've
Maybe
learned
should
how
have
to
asked that
do
question then.
makeshift repairs to get them going again. There's not things you should be doing on your cars you're going to use on the road.
Go on, give us an example. Give me one of the most memorable sort of things that you've done on your car to get it around that track.
A good one. I had an engine mount or gearbox mount. I can't remember. One of them broke, so the whole engine dropped down, and we just had a lump of wood that we found at the track and ratchet strapped it up, and then went out and did the race. It's fine for the racetrack, but you wouldn't want to be going up the M11 with it, you know.
No. You can imagine being pulled over by the police and looking at it going, yeah, we need to have a word. Yeah, lump of wood, not any good. It's an old car. It's fine. There we go. So what's this about the missing keys as well? I've just seen that in my notes.
So the missing keys, that was we're saying about everybody helping everybody out and that kind of thing. So a few years ago, I don't know how much you know about the dirt rods, but you're allowed to still leave them running on a key. And with the stuff of the sort of age that the cars were racing, they need a key, an ECU, and a little reader for the key to be able to pick everything up so you can start the car.
Right.
Long story short, on one of the race days, I'd left the key in the ignition and we'd gone up to watch one of the other races, and somebody somewhere had taken the key out for whatever reason. I don't know. But obviously meant that I couldn't race anymore that day, but also meant that I couldn't race that car unless I built a separate wiring loom or then went and bought another ECU key and key reader, which even for the old escorts that we raced, they're not cheap. I think for a set it was 50 quid or 100 quid or something like that, which right, it's not lots and lots of money, but it's money I wouldn't have had to spend if the key didn't disappear. Yeah. And there's a guy that we raced with in dirt rods, Terry Martin, affectionately known as Wiggy. You'll see him in quite a lot of the pictures of me, actually, because we're normally hitting each other somewhere down the line. I'm sure he will tell you that I end up hitting him more than he ends up hitting me. But he actually put together a thing on Facebook and said, look, guys, Dan's had his key nicked. You know, he's a nice guy at the track. He helps everyone out. If we all chip a fiver in, he'll be able to go and buy another set and he'll be racing again. And within less than a week, we'd had enough money to go and buy one. And it's all people from the track who just chipped in like a fiver or a tenner or whatever they wanted to chip in to help us out.
Oh.
And then Terry said to me, look, we've got the money together. Look, we've got you an ECU from somewhere. One of the other guys, Wayne Maddox, I think, got us the ECU in the end. And so we had a new ECU key and key reader. And within a fortnight, the car was running and back at the track.
Oh,
that's through everybody sort of helping out, like, you know.
Yeah, that's a lovely little story, isn't it? I like that.
Yeah.
But I see that happening. You know, I go there every other week, or like we had a double hit the last couple of weeks. But it's you see that you all chip in together. You see that you work really hard to help and knock each other out, which is quite a mad thing. But yeah, I don't know. It just fills you with warmth, doesn't it? When you've got that,
it's a nice thing, because as much as you're competing against each other, you know, you're helping each other out as well.
Yeah. Well, okay. Who's your arch rival? Talking about people helping each other.
I'm never that high enough in the points to be worrying about who else is close in the points, to be totally honest with you. I might get the odd 1 or 2 trophies a year if I'm lucky, but that's enough for me.
I need to check up on this points thing. That's the next thing, is being able to bring that up. But
yeah,
that noise
I think
is still
Steve Prime does the points between him and Cy Avis. I think they do the points and the roof grades, but they normally put them up on the Stansted Facebook page or the website every couple of weeks or a month or so.
That's right. I've seen them populate. I need to start bringing that into the stream, because where are you in the league at the moment?
I can tell you, so far this year, I've got 1 point. As you've seen from some of the videos that I put up from the last meeting, I've been lucky to actually finish a race so far this year. So
yeah, I did have. So I was doing that work on that video for you. That sound is really.
Yeah.
What is it?
See if I can move it around a bit. Might make it a bit
Go on,
better.
then. Come on, people, give us some of those questions you want to ask Dan as well while you're out there. Let's see those comments coming in. And then still there. I think it's when I talk, it hates me. But there we go. So, of course, yeah, with the points. So what I can see on the work that I was doing, I had one race on there. I thought it was the heat one. It wasn't. And it was actually you just stuck in the middle of the track off bend one.
That could be my fault, because I know when I uploaded the videos of the 4 races that day, I couldn't remember which one was which.
Oh, okay. Well, do you know what? Again, with the static cameras and obviously the recordings, it doesn't. I have to kind of work out which heat it is. But I eventually worked out late that it was actually not the right one. Then I have to find the right video, bring it across, and put it all on. But yeah, it's. Yeah, I have seen that you've been stationary a bit. So
I'm stationary a lot. I'm sure, as Paul Carter will probably tell you, I like to stop on his little corner and just be a blockade for everybody to see how well they can get around the corner, around me sitting at the corner doing nothing.
Well, I tell you what, that brings me to something. Let me see if I can quickly bring this up, and actually let me turn the volume down on it, because actually, if I bring, here we go. Bear with me, as they say. I'm not a professional. So at the start, we can see here, if I rewind it, pause it, you can see like in this box here that you actually, let me see if I can rewind that a little bit more, is the car that's next to you actually cuts across. And you can see that here in the 4th box, or the in-car view. The yellow car comes across you, doesn't it?
It's funny you mentioned that, because the yellow car is Wiggy that we mentioned earlier.
Oh, Wiggy. Hello, Wiggy. How you doing? But yeah, so they cut across. And so did you take your foot off the pedal, or did you just full on still, well, I'm just going to whack him off?
You just keep going until you're in the bend, and he'll either get out of the way or he'll go a bit faster, won't he?
Get out of the way. All right. So here, as you can see.
To be fair to him, I think if you look at that, where you paused it there is probably the right bit. He's come across because the silver car in front of him was a non-starter. So his option there is either come across in front of me and hope I don't get him, or go into the back of the one that didn't move. Or
stop. There is the option. There is
no option.
Ladies and gentlemen, drivers out there is a stop pedal. It's called the brake. It's the middle one.
Once the green flag goes down, if you're there racing, you're not going to stop waiting for the rest of them to go past before you go.
I'll tell you, I'll get me out there. I know exactly what you mean. So when it comes to any racing I've done, as soon as that visor comes down, that's it. Boom. Don't care. My mate Chris Avery, we've been go-karting before, and we nearly killed each other. I swear. One of us had to yield, and it wasn't me. I can tell you that. So, and I beat him. Ha ha, Chris Avery. Deal with that. So this guy, it's lovely though, isn't it? To me, driving, is a passion. If you, let's come off the video for a second. I can't say this enough. It goes with the E&G Sports, with the netball, the grassroots, what they do there. The guy who runs that, Richard, he's ex Oxford City football player. Very passionate, very in the zone athlete, and also he's really physically athlete as well. Girls just look at him and draw. But it's one of those things that you can tell people who, you just want to win. Well, why wouldn't you? I think we're gonna digress here from just sport, racing, but sport in general and people's attitude. I don't think there is enough out there on I've got to win. Well done for taking part. Sod that. Yeah. Sod that. Got to win.
Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to come home with that little trophy at the end of the day and say, I've won.
Do you know, I don't care about trophies. I don't care about medals. I care that I whipped your butt. That's
even
it.
I won.
I won.
Just knowing that you were quicker than everyone else is enough, isn't it? But
it's like a poker player. I've got a poker company, and it's everyone's like, what cup we're getting? I said, do you really need a shield or a cup to say that you won? Surely just the bragging rights. And in the end, I bought this shield thing and gave them a little stamp, they had a little thing, and they were like, yeah, thank you. But to me, I don't care about that. I just care that when it's like in poker, chip in a chair, I've actually sat there for a good couple of hours with just one chip, and actually won the tournament in the end. And to me, that's far bright. There's no medal for that. There's no nothing, but I know that I can stand there while I'm drinking my pint going, ha ha, yeah, load of useless
But there's
players.
things like that. There's things like that. What you're talking about there in racing as well. You know, even if you're not actually winning the race, sometimes it's a good feeling coming off and going, well, you know, somebody was trying to take me out on that corner and I managed to hold on to it. And as much as they wanted to spin me out or whatever, they couldn't. So even though you didn't necessarily win the race, in that, you know, interaction that you had with them, you came out on top because you drove better.
Exactly, and that's it, isn't it? It doesn't matter where you come sometimes, like you said. Even though winning is everything, I'm sorry, but yes. But the point is that getting that own back, like, you know, sitting there for 2 hours in a poker game, you know, and then making it to final table, and people come up to you and go, "Are you still in?" And they were, you know, I mean, they were stacked. And then it's like, yeah, because it's a mind game. Do you not understand? It's not just about cards. It's about working out what's good to go on. And when you're on the track, we had this chat about yesterday, which regards to people coming who have the tires, the engine, you know, tuned and everything. And you literally, it doesn't matter. It's based on skill.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. That's part of what we like Stansted as well, because it's not a place where everybody's spending thousands and thousands of pounds to have the race tuned engines or this and that. Although some people do get accused of it sometimes, but most of us just laugh it off. You know, if somebody's winning a bit too often and people get a bit, you know, why is he always winning? But there's not a lot of people that actually do it. And even when they do, that track is totally different one lap to the next.
You said this, yeah.
You never set the car up exactly for the track because the track changes every minute.
Every second.
Every second, yeah. I mean, I was saying to you yesterday, and some of the videos you put up as well, you see that some of the tyres that are supposed to be there to stop you do more laps than we do sometimes.
I tell you, there's some footage going to come out with you see tyres just flipping over. Somebody's hit them and they've done about 5 somersaults, then come into the middle of the track and somebody's driven into them and they take somebody out. It's quite cool. So we've got a question here from Sweet Dixie Carter. Ready for this? Don't know if you can see it in your thing. Actually, we've got Gary Manning, but we'll do Gary Manning after. What's with the banana?
Oh, the banana. That's quite a funny story as well. So there's some of our good mates that we race with over there, Dawn and Steve. They found this kids' toy banana thing. It's basically a banana wearing like a Rastafarian hat, which is the same colours as our car with the red, yellow, and green. So they just brought it over, and their daughter just loved it, and so we sort of cable tied it to the back of the car, and then, you know, all the kids are sort of screaming and shouting because they can see this stuffed banana going around the track. And thankfully, so far, it hasn't fallen off and anybody run it over. So, you know, the banana's not dead yet. It's still alive, still going.
Just keep it going, mate. Keep it going. That's a good little story. I like that.
We'll keep it under back as long as we can.
I'll tell you what, it does make my life easier, because when Jamie does his commentary, obviously I'm listening in today, you know, to Jamie. I'm watching all the cameras, trying to see all the problems that are happening. Hopefully, let me know in the comments, please, people. Did I do well this weekend? I think I did. Getting all the crashes and stuff. There were, especially the bangers. There was 3 different things, and I had to swap between 2. But when you have multiple colours, like obviously now I know you're number 13, you know, your car, and if I hear anything from Jamie, it helps when the car is distinguishable, because then I can, you know, if I know that you're coming to, for instance, the final lap, I try and follow you as you go round, unless there's an accident. It's kind of like, yeah, they won. So, and that's the thing about also that camera at the top, angled down, is so that we can get you going past the start finish as well. Gary Manning, what did he put? This is going to be interesting. Hello, Gary, by the way, and hello to Sweet Dixie Carter. Gary says, Dan, are you out next meeting? Jason Manning meeting. Oh, right. Are you out for the Jason Manning?
I hope to be. The next one's the 25th, I think, isn't it?
Yes. Oh,
yes.
Yes.
I should have the car hopefully repaired by then. There's not too much to do. So if I get that sorted this weekend, then I'll be out next meeting.
What's the problem with the car?
So as you saw me being stationary for most of the last meeting, it's just a couple of drive shafts, not a lot of work, but it's probably, the car, to be fair, is actually from 2019. So it did the whole of 2019, and then 2020 I only did about 4 or 5 meetings because of COVID and everything else. And then when this year started, I thought, well, it's still running. Why build another one just yet? Might as well get the rest out of this one. But also, given that it's done a couple of years already, it's a bit worn out and tired. So, but
Is it really?
I
feel like myself.
You and me both, mate.
Is it hard fitting in banger racing, repairing cars, and work? Is it?
To be totally honest, it depends how busy work is. If work's not too bad, then there's a bit more time. But yeah, it's not too bad. Helps that I'm already dirty most of the time at work anyway, so I can just come home and go straight to working on the banger before I go home and have a shower and have dinner and do all the normal things in life.
What does the other half say to it all?
No, she doesn't mind. She's a midwife for the NHS, so she's rarely home anyway. Because I'm sure you know what the NHS is like.
Yeah, I've worked there, so yeah, I understand totally how busy they are. And yeah, I know midwives do a lot. And also, I had a midwife work with me in the area that I worked in, the PRS. She was harsh, man. She was harsh. Said about my kid getting too hot once, and they said just throw him in a bath full of ice. I was like, what? And I was like, that's a little bit much, isn't it? And then she turned around, she went, do they go in the sea? I was like, well, yeah. What's the difference? Man up. I was like, okay, right, fair enough. Is that what the other half's like? Is it?
She doesn't really deal with sort of toddlers and that, I guess, but I suppose she can be like that. Depends on the situation, I suppose. She's probably harsher with me than most other people.
I was going to say, does she make you have ice baths, mate?
No ice baths, thankfully.
Not until later, yeah. Okay, right. So what else have we got here? Here we go. What's Sweet Dixie Carter said, Mr. Black Flag wants to know how many times he's got you. Ooh.
I'm going to guess that Sweet Dixie Carter is Mr. Black Flag because that'll be Paul Carter. I'd like to say I'm actually quite well behaved, Paul, as you should know. And in all the years of being at Stansted, I think I've maybe had one black flag.
Only one? That's quite good. Find that out. How many people have had a black flag? There we go. And how many times?
If you ask Paul, he waves the black flag more than he waves the red and the green. So.
Yeah, he likes it though, doesn't he? I mean, so on the 4th of July, I put the camera because of technical difficulties. I wanted to make sure I got Ben 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 in. So I put the camera, which was on Mr. Black Flagman and Terry.
Yeah.
I didn't know until the race had started that's where they stood. And I was a bit like, oh, bugger. But do you know what? We can actually see them doing their work for a change, which isn't much.
Yeah. Always good to keep the camera on Paul as well, because every couple of years he does this little trick where he falls down the bank and it's hilarious.
Nobody's ever told me that. Nobody's ever told me that. That's quite cool. Right. Gary Manning's put, that's great. Hope to see you again. At least you've not got Trevor in his Honda to worry about. PMSL. What's that all about?
Yeah. So Trevor, I didn't know he wasn't. I assume he's not racing out with us at the moment. But he had a little Honda. I'm not sure what it was, to be honest. I think it was a Honda Del Sol. But we got in each other's way a few times. But he's a good lad, Trevor.
Was that what? So what? That was like your rivalry.
Sorry.
Is there anybody you pick out on the track then?
Is there a what? Sorry.
Anybody you pick out on the track? If you're going to take somebody, you just had enough.
No, to be honest with you, most of the races start as I just want to win the race. It's only if somebody is sort of a bit naughty with you that you think, all right, that's it. I'm not bothered about the race anymore. I'm going to try and catch him.
Do you not? Okay, right. So let's talk about the points then. So. Would you help?
I've only 1 point, so I'm not.
But that's the point.
On points.
No, but that's the point. Would you take somebody out so that they didn't win the championship?
No.
But to help your point.
Most of them are mates anyway. So, no, genuinely, they are. Most of them are mates. So.
Could we pay you to do that then? Is that a little? There you go. There's some money there.
Unless they've specifically had a little go at me, then I wouldn't be that worried about taking them out just so they didn't win the championship. To be totally honest, I'm never that close to the top of the ball to be for it to benefit me if I did anyway.
Why is that? Is it because your car's not good enough then?
No, the car's all right. To be honest, I'm out there for a laugh, you know. I enjoy the racing. It doesn't. I think if I took it too seriously, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. I've been close before. Been close. I've been like sort of top 5, top 10. It was easier a couple of years ago because we didn't have 40 odd cars on the track at one time. When we first started doing it, there was sort of in the mid 20s. It was a bit easier then, but yeah, for me, it's just getting out there and having the race and the drive.
Yeah, do you know? Again, driving is like that, isn't it? I know it's costly, but it is getting out there and enjoying it because it's a passion. And no matter what and how you look at it, that's just what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's quite
Well,
as well. That
sorry,
video that we had from the in-car where I'd got the puncher, you might notice I sort of went on to the middle and then I came back out again because I sort of pulled off. It stalled when I'd spun round, got it started again and thought, right, okay, let's see if the steering's okay and if it drives, and it did. And even though at that point, I know I'm not going to win the race because I've been spun out and I'm now a lap down. But I went back out because if the car was okay, I would have carried on just because I enjoyed doing it. In the end, I'd done a lap and realised that I'd had a puncture, so I pulled back off anyway.
Right, I was going to say, because you saw that in the video, you actually see that on the bottom left-hand corner, you see that you pull off and then you come back on. So, which was interesting.
If I didn't have the puncture, I would have carried on. Even though would have been a lap down and wouldn't have had any chance of winning it, I still would have carried on because it's just I enjoyed doing it.
But you're not allowed to carry on if you've got a puncture.
You shouldn't.
Is that black flag?
They can black flag you for having a puncture because if you're going around just on the rim, you're churning up all the mud and you're going to create ruts and grooves and things. But not only that, it wasn't worth it for me to carry on because if I go around with a puncture, it then causes more damage to the car anyway. You can end up doing drive shafts or suspension or steering arms or anything else just because you're going round on the rim and not on a tyre.
That's a good point. Okay,
so
didn't know that.
It was more about not having to do more repairs than just changing the wheel, to be totally honest.
How long does it? Well, I mean, how long does it usually take you to do a repair after every race?
Depends. The beginning of the season, it's not normally too bad because the car's not that battered yet. But at the stage they're in now, if I end up in a tussle like that, it tends to be steering arms or drive shafts, sometimes suspension legs. 9 times out of 10, we can get the car repaired before the next race starts, which is always a bonus. Occasionally, we have to miss one race, but we'll, normally get it back out for the next one. Unless it's something major. I've done it before where I've ended up with a hole in the sump and all the oil's dropped out, and that's the end of the day. I can repair it at home, but it's not something we can do at the track there and then.
That must be a sinking feeling.
It is a little bit, but it's part and parcel of it. It's the way it goes sometimes,
Okay. Have you thought about driving bangers?
I'd like to have a go at bangers, but to be totally honest, I haven't got the time or the money to be doing a car every fortnight. It's right. It's a lot more work on bangers. The dirt rods, we're quite lucky. We can make them last a season if everything goes to plan. If you take away COVID and all that sort of stuff, we normally get a year out of the cars, so that's enough for us.
What about a car that's
limited on? Sorry, go on.
What about a car at the start of the season? Just the first race of the season is you have a banger that you come right off, or even the last race of the season.
Last race of the season, yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying to you before. They do sometimes do a dirt rod DD at the end of the year, so you can kill the car off. I've done that once.
Okay, I didn't notice that last year.
I don't think they did it last year, to be honest. But most of that's probably due to COVID and everything, because it was. I mean, I only done a handful of races last year because of COVID and everything else, and so. But I think the last one would have been 2018 or 2019.
Right. Okay. All right.
Normally, if everything goes to plan, the last one of the year they'll do a dirt rod DD, but they do it just on the pit bend. So you haven't, because our cars aren't built in dirt rods to take the impact that bangers would do. We don't have the foot plates, or I think that's the only difference actually. Or the bonnets might be held down with a bit more substantial stuff.
Right. Okay.
So to alleviate that, we only have the bottom bends, because then we can't fly all the way up the straight and get to full speed, because we also, you know, you don't want to hurt yourself either.
No.
In a
Have you
banger
heard
that's built for that, you'll be okay. But for the dirt rods, they're supposed to be minimal contact, as everyone will tell you.
Supposed to be and will be is totally different.
Yeah. But, you know, if you're taking the dirt rod that's built as a dirt rod in a DD, you can't really go flat out all the way up the straight, because it's not built for that.
Right. Okay. Didn't know that. So that's something new. So we need to get like a banger driver on so they can explain all that to me then, and we can educate.
Yeah, they know a bit more than I do. I know as much that I wouldn't want to take a dirt rod out with the bangers into a DD, because, well, you couldn't anyway. You wouldn't be allowed. But without having the foot plates and everything there, you more chance of a bit of injury or something. But yeah, banger driver would be better to explain what they have in them.
Okay, there we go, people. We want a banger driver next. Oh, actually, we talked about this yesterday. Junior drivers. I wouldn't mind interviewing some junior drivers if you want to come on at some point. That would be great. Because I think
probably be good to interview, because they are absolute nutters, all of them.
And if I tell you what, if one of you doesn't want to do it, but a group of you do, like 3 or 4 of you, even better. Because I'm telling you, I'm watching these junior bangers and I'm going, literally, parents, you must be literally biting your nails off, because I see what they do, you know, and I've got the different camera things, and I also see parents' reactions. They have no fear. They are literally mad men and women. They are, you know, girls and boys, I should say, but not men and women. But they have no fear. They literally, I think they have more, you know, I don't even know what the word is, but they literally go in and do whatever. So I mean, I'm very impressed with what I see out there. Size asked.
Remember as well that some of them start at like 10 years old.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I'm like, wow. Size asked. Hi Dan. What's been your biggest wreck?
It's funny that I should say that, actually, because I think one of my biggest wrecks was probably I'd hit him accidentally, and then somebody'd hit me behind, and I ended up the escort was probably the size of like a KA by the time I came off the track. So I had pulled in, I think, a top end. He was either just about to pull in, or he was sort of just coming onto the middle, and I tried to avoid him or go round him, and then someone ended up in the back of me, and we all ended up in a big sandwich. But yeah, somewhere I'll see if I can dig the picture out later, but the bonnet is all the way back and the back's all the way back. That was probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest wrecks. But
do you ever get out of the car and go, how the hell did I get out of this alive?
No, as anyone who races over there will tell you, if you've built the car right and you're strapped in tight enough, then you shouldn't, touch wood, ever end up getting hurt. You know, sometimes people end up with minor injuries where they've not strapped themselves in tight. And if you look at any of the little wing car ones that I put up sometimes, the whole time I'm sat on the start line, I have this little thing. I end up putting my gloves on tight and then doing the belts again. Even though I know I've done them, I just end up doing them again and doing them again and doing them again. Especially when I end up sat on the bottom bend and not being able to drive anywhere because I've wrecked the car. And it's imminent that somebody is going to end up hitting me sooner or later. You just tighten the belts up and hope for the best. But like I say, if the car's built right and the belts are tight, you shouldn't ever get hurt.
See, you saying that, I should have actually had that video as well to show you, which is when I was watching it, that's when I realized, hang on, this isn't the same heat that you said it was. I mean, there is loads of cars just going past you. Yeah. Is that a thing where you just sit there and basically kiss your ass goodbye because you're scared crapless that you're going to get hit any second?
It's not so much you're scared that you know you're going to get hit. It's not so much that. It's more thinking, right, when I get hit, how much more damage have I got to repair when I get it off? You'll see a lot of the drivers as well. They'll have a little mirror somewhere. You can normally see it in my one. And
yeah, I've seen it on yours.
Yeah, exactly. So once it comes a point that I'm sat dead in the middle of the track and I know someone's going to hit me sooner or later, I'll just be looking at that mirror constantly thinking, right, when is it coming? And oh, it might be that one, it might be the next one.
Do you know what? I find it really, really not weird, but interesting and very skillful that you can hardly see in front of you, yet they miss you.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the part of the racing is keeping as tight a line as you can to those tyres. So whether it's a tyre or a dead car or something else ends up in the way, you want to get around them, but you still want to keep the line really tight so you don't lose your place on the track or don't lose any speed. So watching it from, especially from inside the car perspective, it looks like they're inches and inches away. Is because they are that close. That's why some of them end up hitting you sometimes, because they're trying to take the line so tight. It's not that they want to hit you. It's that they're trying so hard to keep the line tight to not lose any speed and not lose their position on the track. That's all. Well,
of course. Any space lost is lost speed, lost time, exactly. lost grip. Any gear. We got Gary Manning writing, get a hot rod. Will be good for you. Do you think?
Could be something for the future, but I'm enjoying dirt rods too much at the moment.
Why is that?
Hot rods is no contact at all. If I decide somebody needs a little push off the line to let me go past, I wouldn't be allowed to do that in hot rods.
I got to admit, I kind of like that actually. Yeah, because it's kind of like giving that little tap, isn't it? Just to see you later, deal with that. Okay, interesting. There was let's quickly go back to this. Back to your last race scenario.
Yeah.
So we had Wiggy, as you called him. So he's cut across you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like here these two on the top right hand corner. I don't know. Can you see my mouse moving? If not,
can't see the mouse, but I can see all the videos you've got up there.
I'm glad you said that. Then, so at least now I don't feel stupid about moving the mouse around. So the top right hand corner has two cars meeting up there, so that's going to be quite interesting for you. So let's just quickly play this a little bit more. I've cut the sound, so I'll put a little bit of sound on it. Let's give it a little bit of sound. So what are you thinking at the moment then? So we see that you're coming into bend 1.
Yeah.
You've got Wiggy in the front of you.
Yeah.
And, what's your thoughts at this precise moment in time, if you can remember?
Well, it's going to be the same at any time we're racing. But if you look at the top left picture, we're just about to go into the bend there. As you say, we've just come off the line. We're still flat out at that point. Knowing that we've got Terry, and I can't quite see how many, but there's a good few cars in front of Terry as well. So we're not using the brakes at that point either, because the people in front of us are going to slow us down.
Oh, we lost you. Where'd you go?
Before, do we stop and let Terry go past? No, of course we don't. We keep our foot flat down and hope that Terry either keeps up or moves over.
Okay.
And I'll give Terry his due. He managed to stay in front of me for another lap or two, I think, before he ended up getting out of the way, shall we say.
Was this Wiggy or Terry?
This is Wiggy, yeah, in the yellow one.
Yeah, sorry, we lost you for a second. You disappeared off and then come back on. So let's play and see if it'll do it. So then, right. So now you're going around. What we've got you down on the bottom left-hand corner now. Coming into there we
Probably
are.
Coming past Mr. Black Flag at that point.
Oh, look, Mr. Black Flag's at the top left-hand corner. Look, he's sat there. Look, stood there waiting. In the bottom right-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner. So you're going past, and then we'll see you top right-hand corner come past. Now the FBO logo's in the way. So this was interesting here because I saw as you went past camera 2 or bend 2.
Yeah.
You're not right behind Wiggy. And this is when I start to see bits coming into the car. So is this the bit where you start to go, right, this is the flak coming at me first? Or are you just thinking about the bend?
No, once you're that far around the bend, you're coming up to the straight. So at that point, if you weren't already, you should be flat out again now, foot to the board.
Right.
Ready to get out the back straight.
Okay, let's press play. So you start to come into bend 3 now. You've done about 2 or 3 turns on that steering wheel.
Yeah, to be totally honest, that race. The top bend was still a little bit wet.
Right.
So
okay.
You can end up when it's wet. Obviously you sort of slide around the bend as much as you don't have as much grip as you want to. So you can end up sort of turning and turning back until you get get the line right where you want it to be, sort of thing.
Right. Okay. So you're oversteering to obviously keep you ready to
Yeah. Because
power
even
side
though
out.
you don't want to turn as much as you've turned the wheel because you've not got any grip because it's wet. You need to just make it round the corner without veering off to the left.
Yeah. Okay. I know.
But then as you come back around towards the straight, you're now obviously well over the point where you could just go back a little bit and be straight. So you have to overcorrect yourself again to come back.
Well, let's see if you do that. I think you did.
Just about, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, here we go. So you're very casual there. You got your hand on the gear stick. You're not even, you're just touching, just a little bit of a hand on it.
I could make out that that's a lot of skill, but to be totally honest, where it's wet, it's just it's not. It's just because it's wet. To be totally honest, the hands on the gear stick, because sometimes when it's wet, you might need to change gear again. You don't all the time, but sometimes
up or down.
Depending on the way it is, to be totally honest. If it's really, really wet, sometimes you need to go back down, or sometimes you need to go up. If you're spinning so much that you're not getting any grip, you might need another gear. Or if you're if you're not getting the grip at all and you're slowing down, you might need to drop down a gear. So I was sort of preparing for that, but didn't really need to. So as much as it looks like I'm all relaxed and everything, it's just because it was wet.
Okay, all right. Looks good though. It looks very casual driver. All right, you've just gone past the start finishing line. The banana's still attached.
The banana's still there, yeah.
Black flag is yellow flag man at the moment. You still got Wiggy in the front of you. You got the car.
Yeah, I do Wiggy, at the point you've paused it now, Wiggy is about to jump over to the left and then come back to the right, I think, because I don't know why. But
it's a time warp dance. Is that it?
It could be that, yeah. It could be that.
Well, let's have a look.
That ends up being his undoing when I think it's this bend that I managed to get round him. And I say get round him. I did give him a little tap and he ended up spinning round. But
what do you have to say to that, Wiggy? Did you swear when it happened? Did you swear? Do you know what I like doing?
I think it's a little bit further along.
Okay, I like these. What you all did. So you just got in there. You should be coming down. Yeah, there he is. Bottom left-hand corner. He's spun out a bit. You see that?
That's probably him starting to go round now. Yeah.
So bottom left-hand corner. Yeah, he spun that. So that was you doing that, was it?
Yes and no. So it was me. There's not no, but I had given him a little.
We
tap.
got video evidence.
I had given him a little tap, but then at the same time, if you look at the in-car, I do go around to the left, so I'm not following him as he goes round because I want to spin him round. I was just giving him a tap enough that he gets out of the way and then I can go around him.
Dan, let's rewind that a little bit, shall we?
We can rewind it a little bit.
Just a little bit. Let's just see if that's enough. Right, so there we are. Right, so far, I'm looking at the bottom right-hand corner here.
Yeah, so
you're in
there.
Yeah.
And then now's when I've hit him. And if you press play now, I'll go round to the left to go round him. If it's the right lap, might be the next lap. If not,
it looks like you kind of gave him a little tap, but carried on your way.
Yeah, but you got to get past him, haven't you?
Well, yeah, but you gave him a little tap and just let him meet the tractor tyre, didn't you?
It's all right. I'm sure he owes me a few by now, anyway.
Yeah, sure. That's good. It's good. So you're going back up the straight now. Back straight, I should say.
Actually, this is a better part of the video. So the guy in front of me now in the black Focus, I tap him because I'm catching him up, and he actually moves over, and I end up going past him on the straight. I think. I don't know if it's lap or the next lap.
Does that happen a lot then? If you give somebody a little tap, they'll just move out of the way because they're scared of you?
Not always. People generally don't want to get out of the way because they want to be in front. But if if you've been behind them for a couple of laps, and I do it as well. If I know the car's not running right or I'm not quick enough and I'm getting in someone's way, people only will tolerate that for a couple of laps before they push you out of the way, So sometimes...
There's no blue flags in this game, but there is tap to get you out of the way. Right, okay. That's another thing. There's no blue flags, but it's not big enough really for blue flags, is it?
No, but then
Then what?
what
Blue
for
flags?
yeah, there's not. You don't really see. I don't even know if they have blue flags, to be honest. I've never seen one there.
There we go, Mr. Black Flag Man. Maybe you can tell us: is there a blue flag in this game?
He likes his black flag too much. He waits till afterwards and then waves that one around.
I got to admit, there is one shot I got on the camera with him waving it, so he kind of jumps out and starts pointing at somebody with the black flag, and I'm like, I will do something with that later.
To be fair, he does. You have to make it clear which driver you're waving the black flag at. You know, if you don't know, not you don't know it's you, but you know, you could be waving it as 3 or 4 cars go past, and they all might think, "Oh, is it me?" Because as well, it's not just if you're doing something you shouldn't be. It could be for a puncher. It could be because you're on fire. It could be any number of things. You know. So if you've got 3 or 4 cars going past, you'll quite often see him. He'll wave it, but then he'll point it at the driver as they're going around, so they know it's them and it's not the other 2, 3 guys that are around him.
Oh, okay. We got what's the sweet guy said? Paul said, "What do you think focuses in the forums and no to blue flags at Stansted?" What do you think about? What do you think focuses in the forums and no to blue flags at Stansted?
Right. So there's no blue flags at Stansted. I'm not sure what he means about focuses in the forums.
Formula.
Oh,
That's
formulas.
Yeah, there we go. Formula.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
There's no reason they shouldn't be in there.
Okay.
I'll probably end up moving on to focuses when I can't get hold of escorts anymore, to be honest. They seem to be the one that everyone goes for at the moment. So
Okay. So what? There's a certain car that everybody seems to like.
yeah, generally most people just go for what's cheap and what's easy to get hold of, which 9 times out of 10 is an old Ford. It's why you see Fiestas and KAs in the juniors and Focuses, KAs, Fiestas in the dirt rods. The only reason, to be honest with you, I stick with the escorts is because we've had them for a few years now, so we've managed to build up a good amount of spares for them. So it just makes sense to stick with the same car, because if we start with another car, we've then got to get all the spares again.
Oh, good point. Never thought of that. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, and if they're cheap as well, it's even better, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, let's continue on. Any questions? Let us know, people. So we've got a yellow flag there. You shooting past, I suppose, about now. There we go. Still got the banana on.
So he's starting to go around there. But as we
So go on.
Go on. I was just going to say. So he's starting. If I really wanted to, I could have spun him out there, but I don't want to. I want to get past him. So you see his car start sort of going off at that angle.
Yeah.
And then once we come out on the straight, I can't remember, do I try and go on the outside or on the inside? But I know I try to go past him.
Let's see. Let's press play.
It does take me another bend or 2 to get past him.
So yeah, you're on the inside there, aren't you? So...
Yeah, so he gets another little tap on this bend. And then there you go, he moves over and then I can pass him straight. But unfortunately, there was a tyre in the way there, so he manages to get back in front of me.
I was going to say, yeah, I tried to sync these up quite well because you can actually see in the top left-hand picture, you're obviously outside now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had to sort of come into the middle to avoid the tyre and then come back out so he gets past me.
So who's this in front of you? Is that the same guy or a different guy?
That's a different guy. So one night I had the tyre there, 2 guys.
And then that's the same guy back in it?
But now I'm back in behind that guy. So the second guy that passed me gets past the first one, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Right, okay.
But then same again there.
And then you're another tap.
That's a tap, yeah.
Bumper cars, mate. It's not bumper cars.
That's not that hard. Ask a banger driver. They'll show you what a proper hit is.
Yeah, that's true. Banger drivers, yeah, they're just...
Yeah, so there you go. Look, he moves over, right, and go past him on the inside.
Do you ever get to the point where you don't realise what lap you're on?
Almost all the time.
What's that?
Almost all the time. It's almost impossible. I think you manage to keep up with yourself for the first 3 or 4 laps, and then so much happens with, tyres in the track or people spinning out, or you come to the bend and there's a dead car there that you've got to fly around, and past the first 3 or 4, you never know what lap you're on.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say I never thought of asking that question in all the times I've interviewed, but that's definitely because I get confused because I'm swapping between cameras. I'm listening to Jamie, unfortunately, in my ear, and just an interesting one because obviously they wave the red flags, and it's a bit like
you'll notice as well on the start line. Sue will be waving the flags, but also once you get down to the last sort of 2 or 3 laps, she'll bring out the lap board to say 3 laps left or 2 laps left or whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing I've tried to get in sometimes when I'm moving the cameras and I'm trying to work things out. I'm like, actually, that's quite good for people to know. You know, it's a bit, but I will bring in other stuff anyway. So we got 317 holding everybody up on the outside, but you spun out there. So what was going on there? Can we rewind that just a little bit? See what
back just a little bit. Yeah, once I've got past the guy on the top bend, as I come into the bottom bend, there's 2 cars in front of me. The one in front of the one in front of me spins out. He doesn't have time to get out of the way. I don't have time to get out of the way. And then the one behind me pushes me into that one. And then we end up all sort of spinning around together sort of thing.
Well, let's see if we can see this with all these camera angles then. Let's have a look. So this is you spinning out there. So we can see on the bottom left picture, not very well.
Excuse me, so the first car's already spun. The second one is sort of stuck into him. I'm now coming to the point where I would have liked to get round him, but the car behind me is already spinning me around.
Right, so
there's trying to find the gap, but also stop yourself spinning around, which isn't always that easy, as you see.
No, you got too many things going on, haven't you? So you're just trying to keep the car straight.
And you've got to remember, all of this is happening in like a second or 2.
Oh yeah. You should see me trying to work. I've got 3 screens to look at, and I'm always trying to see which one has the action. So it does. Sometimes you read it, you click on it, and it happens. But sometimes it happens so quick you ain't got time to go to that camera. But
exactly.
So if we just see, then you get wiped out. There you can see the back car has knocked you out. Yeah, definitely. And this is where you spin out, and then obviously you've got all those cars coming at you. Are you thinking, am I going to get?
I'm more thinking, is the car running?
Right.
And then it will, right, let's put it in gear, see if it actually drives, because I don't know what sort of damage I've done yet. And that's why when I pulled off the middle there, you see I sort of go over to the left and then back to the right. It's just, right, is my steering there? Is the drive there? Is it pulling one way or the other? No, it seems all right. So let's go back out. We'll do a lap and sort of.
And then you've got a puncher.
If it's driving all right or not.
Okay, because you can start to see you coming round.
Yeah, but see, at this point, I know I'm not going to win the race. I'm already a lap behind, so I'm stay around the outside.
Yeah, I see that.
Everyone's coming past me because I'm not trying to get in front of anybody. I just want to see if the car's going to be right or not, which by the time I get sort of half a lap round, I realise I've got a puncher. So it's just then coming back to somewhere where there's not a load of cars and I can pull myself in the middle so I'm out of the way.
Which is what you've done there. You went on to the left.
Yeah.
See, I was about to say, why did you go over to the left? That's why then, isn't it?
It's more just to stay out of the way, because even though I can still drive, I want to get on the middle so that I'm not going to end up in a pile-up and have more damage to repair than I need to.
I can't remember. I wouldn't want to be sat there in the middle of the track waiting for impact, because
I've done that a lot. It's all right. It's not too bad.
Oh, well, Dan, I don't know what more to say except for just amazing watching those laps and sending that in-car footage and allowing me to use it. Greatly appreciated. I mean, is there anything you'd like to add? I mean, I'm looking. We found out about the keys. You drop. Actually, how does it go with your dad at home? Because obviously, he wins more than you.
We've both done fairly all right. I'd say we've done about the same. I think it's quite funny sometimes on the days that he does win, because it's like, I can still do it. I'll show you how to do it and all that sort of thing,
Is it good rivalry at home then, is it?
To be honest, we're more, there's a little bit, not so much, but it's, he tends to be out there to make sure that I keep going. If I stop, even if it's because I'm broken, he'll be behind me trying to push me to get me going again, even if I'm not ready for it. Even if I might not.
Come on, son.
Be there, and all of a sudden he's behind me, pushing me up the straight, getting me going again.
That's cool. What number is your dad?
Number 5.
Number 5. My magical number 5. Right, your dad's number 5. Right. I'll try and pick up on it on the live stream and see that. So that's just pretty cool, because it's just those little things that you see and you don't even realise, you know, and that's why interviewing you and other drivers as well and marshals is you get to see how things are and how they all fit together and how cool you are with each other. But yeah, what we talked about earlier, which was, you know, before we go, that sound is coming really through. Where is it? Doesn't matter now, mate. We're nearly done.
No, I know. I've tried to move it about a few times, but it hasn't made a great deal of difference.
No. It's just one of those. I mean, you drive the Escort Estate, and like you say, you've been at. Might change at some point due to cost, really, isn't it? And then no more. But going back to Stansted, I mean, we do talk a lot about it, and we have talked a lot about it, which is it's so friendly. It literally is well worth coming down, because it changes, every lap changes, the track changes every time because it's a dirt track, and everybody's willing to help each other out.
100%. Everybody that you're racing with wants you to be out there racing with them as much as it is competitive. They all want you to get back out there, and we're all good mates as well. You know, a lot of people meet up outside of racing. We've you know, anyone that's gotten married, we've been to each other's weddings and that sort of thing, and you know, so it goes beyond just the day that you're there, you know, and everyone's got the interest in racing. So if you go to other tracks, whether you're racing or watching, you know, you end up bumping into everyone that you race with. And actually, that's a good point. So Swaffham they allow us to take the dirt rods up there. I must admit, I've not been up there myself, just because normally they do it in the winter, and Swaffham's quite a bit further away from Harlow than Stansted is. But they allow us to run our dirt rod formula up there, and I'm sure Si touched on it actually when you done the interview. He did, yeah. It's very much, it's almost like Stansted racing, but another track. It's not we're all racing at that track. It is we're there, sort of representing Stansted, but we're also it's a bit like football teams when they play away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I can. You know I said,
like, racing at the other track. You're still racing as Stansted. It's just we happen to be in a different place.
Yeah, well, I said I'll try and, you know, see if I'm allowed to go there to film or whatever, and you know, and show the away game. Going away with lads on holiday. But yeah, no, yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it, that you can go, for instance, the away game, go to Swaffham and race there. So it'll be interesting to do that as well, because, you know, winter months, work dies down, as they say, and you know, free up my time. But anything you'd like to add about being a driver, being into banger racing, and encouragement for anybody else to join in, or if they haven't, come down and try out Stansted or whatever?
100%. If you think it's something you want to do, I mean, if you've not watched before, 100% come down and watch.
Definitely come and watch.
It's a good day out for everyone as well. You know, as many of us who race there will go and watch everywhere else that we can anyway. You know, even if we're not racing, we want to go and watch it somewhere else. Or, you know, even if we're on holiday somewhere and they have a track nearby, you think, oh, I'll nip in and watch there one day, because it is a good day out. And it's a good day out if you've got kids or anything like that who are interested in cars. I mean, they love it because you're watching cars get smashed up all day, which is, you know. Why wouldn't
that's a good point.
But, yeah, if it's something you're thinking about doing and you want to race, get in touch with anyone at the track, or the Facebook group's a good way to do it, because you can get everyone will help out with, you can do this, you can't do that, or where to get gear from and stuff. So, you know, definitely 100% give it a go. If it's bangers you want to do, I'm sure there are some guys that rent them out for the day. So again, if you get in touch with anybody on the Facebook or Terry or any of the team, they'll put you in the right direction. Give it a go. Definitely give it a go.
It looks like fun. It does look like great fun. I've got to admit. You know, it's at one point I will get in one of those cars of yours. I'll wait for someone to leave their keys in the car, and then I'll just jump in. but also coming down to watch. I can't say this. You know, I turned up last year, and I could see how friendly it was. And even I say this even on the live stream during the day, when I'm there, do come down and watch. The live stream's theirs if you can't make it. It's always just, you'll never get the same as if you're there. And I pick up on that atmosphere when I'm there.
The thing
it's like an 8 now.
You can see as well. There's just the noise and the smell of the petrol and everything else going around. It's just,
I was about to say that. You nicked it. I was about to say that. You can't beat it, can you? The smell, the noise. I mean, the smash. So sometimes you see, I'm on the live. Obviously, I'm moving the camera around, following and then I'll hear something. And that's sometimes I think it's that sixth sense. Where
sometimes with the really, really big crashes, you actually almost feel the vibration go through you.
I'm like that. I'm like, what's going on? I can't see because I'm trying to look through the windows of the van like that. And I'm like, everybody looking at me what's going, there's a weirdo in that camper van. He needs to be locked up. He looks like he's going crazy. But it's me just trying to see where the bend, what's happened on or whatever. But yeah, the smell, the screeching, you can't beat it. You really can't. So definitely get down there, people, if you haven't been down there already. Even if you're just thinking, you watch a live stream, watch a live stream, watch any of the videos that you put out there, do go down and watch. Definitely. It's definitely well worth it. And again, all you crazy drivers out there, we thank you so much for putting life and limb on the edge and taking it for that one extra lap, even though if you've got a puncture. Dan, it's been a privilege, as always, to interview you.
Right.
It wasn't that bad, was it? Oh, mate, yeah. Next time, let's sort that microphone out if we can. But is there any? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's all good. You know what I mean? It's all part of the process. I'm sure nobody really minds that much. I don't believe there's any last questions, by the way. Let's just do a quick check. No, there's no more questions, which is good. Which means we can wrap this all up, and you can finally get to have your cup of tea, chill with the wife, or soon-to-be wife, which will be in the new house. And we look forward to seeing you again at Stansted Raceway at some point. Hopefully in a week's time.
I'll see you on the 25th.
Yeah, hopefully we will do. Thank you very much. And everybody else out there, do click like, do click share, do comment even more. Keep an eye out on that comments as well if you don't mind, Dan, because I'm sure some people might ask me questions afterwards. Yeah, but other than that, what's that?
I'll take a look at the comments of that once we finish that.
Yeah, do a little reply. Keep them busy. Yeah. I love it. All right, everybody out there, thank you very much for watching.
Before we go as well, obviously,
go
on. Sort of thanks to Terry and everyone who runs the track and lets us go and do all this crazy thing that we do every couple of weeks. Because without them, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Again, yeah, a lot goes out to the marshals out there as well. Terry especially, obviously, because of the finances and stuff he's done and rescuing that area and giving the independent track. And the marshals, they all do a great job.
It's brought the track a long way from what it was before as well.
I keep on hearing that. I get people who come up to me. They won't come in. They don't want to be interviewed, but they say it's come a long way. It's doing really good. So
I remember when we've. I know we're sort of ending up now, but when we first started watching before I started racing, I remember going over there and there wasn't much in the way of fencing, and I can't remember, was it the toilets or an office or something? It was like an old double-decker bus that had just been sat in the field for years, So he has brought it up a long, long way from what it was, and he's made it what it is now. So they've not just Terry, obviously the whole team, but they've made it a lot better track to be in.
Where's the double-decker bus?
More people. Say again.
Where's the double-decker bus? That could be my studio.
I should think that's long gone now.
Yeah, probably. But then again, Frankie's really cool though, to be fair. Frankie, I turn up in Frankie the camper van. What was your impressions actually when you first saw Frankie pulling up and somebody said that's the live streaming guy?
To be honest, I was probably too busy repairing the car from all the damage to be noticing you pulling up with all your gear. But you never know. There's lots of people sort of turn up with cameras and things, and we had a guy one year who sort of came with a drone and did some filming, and then we thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder when he'll be back.
Last year, yeah. We tapped that into the feed. Yeah, we tapped it into the feed. Terry got that involved. Essex Drones, they were. That was amazing. Do you know what? That's been one of my. Do you know how many people have watched that live stream?
I can imagine it's a lot, though.
Have a guess.
I don't know, 500-600 maybe.
10,000.
10,000.
We had about 6,000 in the live stream at once. Sort of scenario. Honestly, it was just immense. And that's the thing. If it's free, that's the sort of numbers we could get, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we've got to try and make the money. But you know, we're always looking for advertisers for FBL and for obviously Stansted Raceway. You never know, if it all starts coming in, things could change as well. And if they're willing to front up the costs, 10,000 views though, it's quite amazing, very amazing. But once again, Dan, you know, good luck with the house. Yeah, good luck with getting the car ready for next Sunday. And obviously, we'll maybe hear the pitter-patter of Tiny Dan's feet.
Maybe in a year or two, who knows?
Got married first, actually. You've got to get married, haven't you? That was what you said. FBL can live stream weddings as well. If we can do Stansted, we can do your wedding.
We'll keep you
All right. Okay. We've got a discount. We'll give you a discount. What can I say? We're all good.
I'll hold you to that if it comes to it. Remember that.
By all means, you can indeed, mate. I will give anybody, you know, especially Stansted drivers or people who come on streams and stuff, they will always get a discount. And people I know. I mean, I didn't even know Terry. I gave Terry a discount because he's an independent track and, you know, just want to get it out there and stuff. So I'm not so much about the money. You know, to me, I just need the business to run and money come in. But, you know, like the things that I do, I'm doing to raise the profile of FBL, try and promote independent businesses, independent councillors, MPs as well, by the way, and things like that. It's about raising the profile. And hopefully, we are there with Stansted. You know, it is race. You know, it's showing Stansted up, you know, as a wonderful track to be at. And I think it's doing wonders for it, to be fair. So we're getting there, mate. It's all good. So once again, or probably for the fourth time, thank you very much, Dan. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it all. Tell everybody else, just quickly though, get on here, get interviewed. Let's get this all up.
I've done it now, so there's no excuse for everyone else not to do it.
There isn't, is there? There's no excuse, people. So remember that.
Exactly.
Don't forget, like, subscribe, get on the interview, especially Banger Driver and Junior Banger as well. We'll get you on the next. And Jamie. I'm going to get Jamie on here as well, by the way. All right. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.